Hello, welcome to Imperfect Knots and welcome to my tutorial for my bandana scarf kits. So I am going to teach you everything you need to know to make these beautiful bandana scarves. They are so comfy because they're a bit stud-like as well. You can actually unfold it, and obviously if I don't have a massive ponytail but bring it up over your head, and they are just so comfy and so warm to wear, and they are really easy to make. So let's get started. Okay, so to make the bandana scarves we will need our yarn. We are using the Knitco lightweight chunky yarn for this project. It works up really well, really quickly, and it's a mosaic pattern, so the effect is just beautiful. You're then also going to need a 5mm hook, as well as a sewing needle and some scissors for our ends. There's not too many ends, you'll be pleased to know, so it's just at the very end that we will need to use those. So let's carry on. Okay, so to start we're going to need to make a slip knot. So just wrap the yarn around your finger, crisscross underneath, bring it over the other way and bring that back loop over, and then pop it onto our hook. And then from here, we need to chain 4. So this is our starting chain. So 1, so chain is to yarn over and pull it through. 2, 3, and 4. And we need to create a circle. So to do that, we're going to work into the very first chain. So we're going to insert our hook and we're just going to slip stitch. So we'll pull our yarn through and then pull it through there. So we have a nice little circle on our hook. And then for round 1, to start off, we are going to chain 4. Now it's important to say that every round will always start with a chain 4. So there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. Now this chain 4 counts as a treble and 1 chain. Just a reminder, I'm working in UK terms, so that is a UK treble, which is a US double. So yes, that chain 4 is 1 treble plus 1 chain. We're then going to be working into the center of our circle, and we want to work 3 trebles into the center of that circle. So insert our hook, pull it through. Let me show you that again. So a treble, yarn over, insert your hook and pull it through. So there's 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's 2 trebles. And then we'll do a third one. And then we want to chain 3. Now this is actually the point of our bandana part. So there's 2 and there's 3. And then again, we want to do 3 more trebles into the center of that circle. So there's 1, whoops, there's 2. These colors are just beautiful. Really love these colors. And there's 3. And then to finish the round, and again, you finish the round on the same thing each time, we're going to chain 1 and work 1 treble into that center. But you would always work this treble into the same space that you've worked the previous 3, and that will make sense as we do some more rounds. But that is the end of round 1. Okay, so round 2, to start it off, I want you to chain 4, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're going to turn our work. I find it easier to turn after I've done my chain. And then you've got this first space. So into there, we're going to work 3 trebles. So this pattern is very much like a granny square. Really simple, and it is just the same for each round. There's 2, and there's 3. And we are going to chain 1. So we're always going to do a chain 1 to hop over the cluster of 3 underneath. And you'll see we've got our point. So we're going to work our point. So again, our point is the same. So into this space here, we're going to do 3 trebles. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. And then we're going to chain 3. Oh, she says when she gets there. Chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3. And then do 3 more trebles into that same space, because we are creating that point. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. And then we have a cluster of 3 that we want to skip over, so we will chain 1 to do that. And then into this last gap at the end, we're going to work 3 trebles. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. And to finish the round, and we always do this, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to put 1 more treble into that same space. And that is the end of round 2. Okay, so for round 3, it's exactly the same as to what we've just done. So we start by chaining 4, 2, 3 and 4, turn our work and work 3 trebles into that space. So there's 1 and 2 and the last one. And then again, we need to chain 1, just jump over that cluster of 3. Working into the next space, we are going to do 3 trebles. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. And then we have our point. So remember, our point is 3 trebles, 3 chains and 3 trebles. So there's 2. There's the first set of 3 trebles. So we chain 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 more trebles into that same space, because that's our point. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. And again, we want to chain 1 to skip the cluster beneath, working into the next space, 3 more trebles. So there's 1 and 2, 1 more. And then again, chain 1 to skip the cluster beneath. And then our last space, we will do 3 trebles. So there's 1, 2 and 3. And again, to finish off, we will do chain 1 and 1 more treble. And that is the end of round 3. Okay, so for round 4 and the rest of the rounds, you are literally just now going to repeat what we have just done. Don't worry about this tail, that will be dealt with at the end. And you want to make it as big as you want. Now for me, as an average sized female, I do 21 rounds for the bandana part. If you want to make it smaller, do less rounds. Obviously, if you want to make it bigger, do more rounds. But for me, I do 21 rounds, if that gives you some sort of idea as to how many you need to do. So keep going, and once you have done as many rounds as you want it to be for the size, come back and I will show you the next stage. Hello. Okay, so once you've done your 21 rounds, or however many you want to do to be the size that you want it to be, and you've finished with your, in that last space where you've done your 3 trebles, chained 1 and 1 last treble, to finish off, you're just going to do a chain, and then you're going to grab your scissors and just snip that off and leave a bit of a tail, which we will crochet in a bit later, and just pull that through and nice and tight. And that is your bandana part completed. It's looking absolutely stunning, isn't it? So now I will show you how to join and to do the next part. Okay, so to join it, we're just going to put in a few stitches. So you just kind of want to bring that long edge together, and where obviously the real long edge goes, that's kind of like that's what's going to go around your neck. And obviously using your holes to match it up, if you come down, so that's your first hole, and then you've got your next one, and then that one there, and we're actually going to join it in the second treble of that second cluster. So to do that, you will need to just create a slip knot and attach that to your hook. And then, like I say, I kind of like stick my thumb and finger through the holes to keep me straight. And then making sure that you go through both, you're going to insert your hook into that second treble. Now again, this is just how I do it. If you have a different way to join, obviously feel free to do it like that. But I just like to join mine with a row of doubles. And then as I go, I grab that tail to crochet over it, because it means I don't have to weave in that end in a moment. Make sure you pop a stitch in that space, in that chain space. And again, just to keep you nice and straight, stick your finger through those holes there so that you make sure you're just getting it all lined up in both stitches on both sides. Pop it through each of those three. So your double crochet, just insert your hook, pick up your yarn, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both two. And then in that end one, pop another double crochet in, and just to finish it off, a single chain. And then again, you can just go ahead and snip that tail off, pull it through and nice and tight. And again, this is going to be dealt with in a moment. And there it's joined together. And that's not going to go anywhere. And then as we work around it, we'll make it more secure as well. And what I do at this point, obviously because I don't want this on the outside, I just turn my scarf, this part inside out. So that's on the inside, so that seam is on the inside. Just give that a bit of a shake out for you. And because this is then what we're then going to be working around next to form the next part of our scarf. Okay, so to do the next part of our scarf, like I say, we're going to be working just around. And again, it's really easy. To get started going, it might just be a little bit fiddly. And where we've got this join, it will neaten up. As you go round, this will neaten up. Okay, so I just need you to trust the process. And we're going to work these tails in as we go. But the way that we're going to do it, so in each, you'll see there's like a gap along each one, and we're going to be working 2 trebles into each of these. So to do this, we are going to obviously create a slip knot and attach that to our hook. And we're going to start, so this is our join here, and we're going to start to the right of it in this space here. So we're going to attach our yarn. Now it's going to be a bit fiddly because we're also going to crochet in all of these tails. So we're going to attach our yarn, whoopsie, like so, and then we're going to chain 3. Now this chain 3 is going to count as a treble, so just remember that for when you come back round. Let's slide him across a little bit. Right, okay, so we've got 3 tails that we're going to be working in as we go around. So we're going to pop 1 more treble into this space here, like so. Okay, now we've got this join. We're kind of just going to skip over the join, keep hold of these tails because we want to push these in, and we're going to pop 2 trebles into the next space. Like I say, this join will tidy up as we go through the rounds. I just need you to trust the process. It does make sense as you go along. Okay, and then into our next space, we're going to do 2 trebles. This starting round is always the fiddliest, like so. Okay, so what I want you to do is in each of these spaces, all the way around, work 2 trebles into each space. And when you get back round to the end, I will meet you there and I'll show you how to finish this round. Okay, so you've worked your 2 trebles into each space all the way around and you've come back here. So to finish up this round, in that starting chain that we did, we are going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that chain, she says, if you can get a hook through. There we go. So you just put your hook through, pick up your yarn and just pull it through and put it nice and tight. And what I like to do at the end of this round is where I have crocheted in over the ends of all those strands of yarn that we had, I just like to just snip them off now because we've crocheted them in, we don't have to worry about weaving them in because they are nice and secure in there. And obviously we've got the one in that was halfway round, which was our starting tail. And again, we can just snip him off now. And that just tidies it up. And that is the end of your joining round. Okay, so now it is just simple. It's just a pattern repeat and we are going to do 18 rounds to create the rest of our scarf. So to do that, we are going to obviously start with a chain 3. So each round will always start with a chain 3, which counts as your first treble. And we are literally now just going to treble into each stitch below. So into each of the trebles below, we are going to place 1 treble. And you will see as you go round that the scarf will start to form. It will really tidy up this join and straighten it out as you go around. And we are going to do this for 18 rounds. But carry on for this round and I'll meet you at the end and show you how to join it and then talk about what happens next. Okay, so you've worked all the way around, 1 treble into each of the trebles below. So to close the round, that starting chain 3 that we did, we are just going to do a slip stitch to join into the top of that chain 3. Oh, my hook came out. Like so, and just pull that nice and tight. And then that will obviously, like I say, the more you go around, the more this will tidy up and straighten out. And that is the end of row 1. Now for the next 17 rounds, is literally just now a repeat of what we've just done. So you start off by chaining 3, and you do a treble into each of the trebles below all the way round, slip stitch to join and go again. And so like I say, you want to do that 17 more times. That is based on the size that we're doing. If you want to make the snood part bigger, then you would do more rounds. And if you want to make it smaller, then you would do less rounds, obviously. So keep going. And once you've finished all of your rounds that you want to do, I'll meet you at the end to show you how to finish off this beautiful scarf. Okay, so when you've finished all your rounds and you're happy with the size of it, like I say, I did 18 rounds of that for the size that I was doing, and you've obviously done your join, you then just need to snip off your yarn, or make sure that you do chain 1 as well, and then just pull that through and pull that nice and tight, and then we just have the one end that we have to sew in, because we crocheted in all of our other ends, we just have the one to do. Now obviously this is just how I do it. I like to loop it through, and then on the reverse side I just kind of weave it through some stitches just to make that nice and secure, and then I snip off that last little bit, and that's how you then complete your scarf. And so there we have it. So you want to fold that over in half, which obviously will make the nice neckline. But there you have your beautiful bandana scarf. I hope you enjoyed making that as much as I did. Please do share your makes with me, and thank you very much for buying my kit.